Hello, my little strangelings, and welcome to another Home State Cemetery Files for me. Once again, a big shout out to my hometown bestie Carrie for getting me the footage and photos for this one. I haven't been east of the mountains more than a few times in the 39 years I lived in Washington, but once or twice it was to go to Roslyn, Washington. Some of you might recognize some of the little town from the television show from the early 1990s, Northern Exposure. Roslyn, Washington has an interesting history as an old mining and logging town, and once again I find myself in the land of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in the case of Roslyn Cemetery, which is an exceedingly interesting and complicated history of any cemetery I've ever covered, I couldn't say it any better than what is written on the official record for the City of Roslyn, so here we go. Excerpt from the City of Roslyn Ordinance 887, 1989. 10-16-007. History. The development of Roslyn cemeteries began prior to Roslyn's incorporation in 1889. These cemeteries were operated with the permission of the Northern Pacific Coal Company, later the Northwestern Improvement Company, or NWI. Originally, there was one general cemetery, now known as the Old City. Blacks were excluded from the original cemetery and were buried in an adjoining piece of ground. As fraternal organizations came into being, fraternal cemeteries were also developed as a distinct and separate cemetery. In 1926, the city was deeded the land that encompassed all then existing cemeteries except the Masonic Cemetery, which was deeded to the lodge directly from NWI. Enough land was deeded at this time to cover some expansion. Subsequent to that deed, 4 cemeteries have been deeded by the city to individual organizations. These are Oddfellows, Old Knights of Pythias, New Knights of Pythias, and Veteran Cemeteries. The city has also subsequently added 2 cemeteries, the New City and Roslyn Memorial Gardens. The Roslyn Memorial Gardens was situated on a piece of land acquired by the city after the 1926 deed. Given this line of development, the only cemeteries for which the city maintains records are the New City and Roslyn Memorial Gardens. Only the Roslyn Memorial Gardens has perpetual care. Most of the fraternal organizations that once existed locally have now been disbanded for many years. Families and other volunteers currently do most of the cleaning and maintenance in the Roslyn cemeteries. So yeah, all in all, Roslyn Cemetery didn't start as a single cemetery like so many we are used to. It didn't even start as 1 or 2 here and there. Somehow, this single cemetery of now began as 27 or 28 small individual little cemeteries that all sort of got smashed together into one giant cemetery when fences came down and dividing lines and plots started to get ignored in order to merge them into the single cemetery we know as all-encompassing Roslyn Cemetery today. You can see why I had to bring this wild tale to you, my little strangelings. No haunting required, although it's not like the Roslyn City Council will ever let anyone investigate to find out. They put an ordinance in place to prevent any after-hours paranormal investigation of Roslyn Cemetery in 2005.